to join us tonight at the University of Louisiana Monroe for our forum on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have a distinguished group of guest speakers that will be making remarks on this subject tonight. We are also going to take comments from the audience. On your way in, there were cards on the table. If you didn't get a card, you can get a card. And you are welcome to fill out and provide a question. If you have a question on this card, hold it up. One of our staff members will collect that from you. We will take these cards and we will, at the end, after the remarks from our panelists, allow for comments and questions to be made. My name is Dr. Joshua Stockley. I am a professor of political science here at the University of Louisiana. I double as director of the honors program and many other responsibilities that many faculty members have here at ULM. I want to welcome you to the University of Louisiana Monroe. For many of you, including myself, this might be the first time you've been back on campus in a while, and I hope that's a good thing and not necessarily a negative thing. There are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. 2 weeks ago, George Perry Floyd Jr. was killed by Minnesota police officer Derek Chauvin. For 8 minutes and 46 seconds, Floyd was pinned to the ground by a knee to his neck. Handcuffed, hemmed behind his back, face down, defenseless. I can't breathe. 3 words that should haunt America for the rest of her days. I can't breathe. Tonight we are here in part because of George Floyd. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Charles Goodrich, Corey Tanner, Yuri Martin, Michael Bean, Terrence Crutcher, Trayvon Martin, Medgar Evers, Emmett Till, James Chaney, Reverend George Lee, O'Neal Moore, Clarence Triggs, Ephraim Grizzard, John Evans, James Burr Jr., Mary Turner, Martin Luther King Jr., and the list goes on and on and on. Tonight we are here because America still has a problem with race. Louisiana still has a problem with race. Northeast Louisiana still has a problem with race. And apparently, some of my former colleagues here at ULM have a problem with race. To all African Americans here tonight or watching online, alumni, former students, current students, and parents, on behalf of the faculty at ULM, I would like to say that I am genuinely sorry for the hateful and disgraceful and hurtful comments uttered by my former colleagues. They do not reflect my values, my colleagues' values, and the values of this institution. I further ask for your forgiveness and hope that you will allow us, the university, to earn back your trust and your support. Desmond Tutu once said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Tonight we are gathered because we have an opportunity to acknowledge injustice, to reject neutrality, to stand in opposition to oppressors, and to say, yes, Black Lives Matter. I do have a confession, though. I do not sit here and pretend to know what it's like being black in America. I have never thought of dying while jogging, walking through a construction site, walking through a park, or driving, or while wearing a hoodie, or simply existing. I have never been singled out, as far as I know, by authorities or strangers for my race. I do not have to lecture my son or my daughter about how to behave should she get pulled over or not get shot. There are, in my opinion, 2 Americas, and I do not die in mine for breathing. And that is why I'm here tonight, to listen, to learn, and hopefully to find solutions. Finally, there is a rule in my classroom. Now, I know you're not technically in my classroom, but tonight you're my audience, so if you will indulge me for a few minutes. My rule is that we can talk about anything. And I see some students that are here tonight, you're smiling, they know this rule. We can talk about anything. As long as you agree to listen, to not interrupt and to be respectful. If we cannot talk about race here tonight, in my classroom, in this audience, then what hope is there for us to talk about it out there or anywhere else? So I hope tonight we also learn how to talk about race. So with that being said, I would like to welcome Reverend Ambrose Dozart for our opening prayer.
Come on, can I get y'all to do something this afternoon? Give yourselves a hand of praise for being in the place. Come on. You can do better than that. Come on. Because God has been good to us. Secondly, can I get y'all to do something that we all need to pray? Give God a hand of praise now for allowing you to do this. He's worthy of all honor and all the praise. Am I right? I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through. But let's pray to our Father, who's the director, author, and finisher of all our lives. Eternal Master, our God, we come at this gathering to say we're much obliged what you've done for all of us. All of us, thank you for your goodness and your mercy and all that you've done for us. When we didn't have a friend, you are our friend. When we didn't have a way to go, you made a way for all of us. Father God, we commend this gathering coming this afternoon, for the organizers, for the staff of the Strength University. But Father God, for one common cause, in which you let happen today, we come together as brothers and sisters on the side of heaven. And we thank you for that. We thank you, Father God, that because of you, we can have a better environment. Because of you, that you bled and died, and that was just part of the story. You went to a place called Calvary Hill. And early on the Sunday morning, according to the records, you got up. And I thank you, Father God, that you got it for me. That I have another opportunity, I have a better way, I got a better projection of life. And all of us, Father God, just give you the honor, give you the praise this afternoon. Some of us come from different diversities of life, different walks. Father God, we know we keep our hand in your hand. You can lead us to better places than where we came. We submit some of these prayers to you because all of us have a great prayer. Pray for families. Pray for family values. Pray for our mayor. Pray for our governor. Pray for the president of the United States. Pray for everyone, everywhere. You told us in your scriptures that fervent prayer of a righteous man we pray and commend all these prayers over to you. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. And I believe somebody will say, amen.
Thank you, Reverend. I would now like to introduce and welcome to the podium the interim president of the University of Louisiana Monroe, Dr. Edwin Little. Good afternoon. I want to thank all of y'all for coming out tonight. I also want to let you know that tonight we have two members of our Board of Supervisors, or three. We have Ms. Olivia, Student Government Association President, Ms. Liz Pierre, Mr. Sean Murphy. So I don't know if I should thank them for appointing me as the interim president. So on day 7, this is what I'm faced with. So tonight, I'm here and we're here to foster community and understanding. We have received over 1,000 emails, text messages, and phone calls. We hear you. I hear you. Diversity is one of ULM's core values, and as such, it strengthens all areas of the campus community.
Today we are here to gain some more strength. In an effort to do that, at the University of Louisiana Monroe, we want to hear from students, faculty, staff, and community on what we can do as a university to address change. Change that will foster a global look and understanding to strengthen our core value of diversity. We realize we have a problem. It's not a problem we're going to fix overnight, but we're going to start. And I need your help. We're here tonight to listen, and we're here tonight to commit to continue the discussion and the dialogue and the action for change. So we're here to listen. I hope you have some time that maybe we can talk afterwards. And I look forward to you over my next 114 days to get the most you can out of me while I'm here. So again, thank you.
I would now like to introduce to you and welcome to the podium current ULM student and current SGA president, Ms. Olivia Bailey.
Hi everyone. So I want to direct this message to all the students in the room and all the ones watching at home. Thank you for tuning in, and I'd like to start off by saying that we're here today because your voice matters and your university does care about you. Speaking on behalf of the Student Government Association, it is our job to represent the student body in conveying your opinions, ideas, wishes, and need to the administration and faculty. We are an organization of students that have an obligation to create and execute any measures beneficial to you, the students, and to serve you in the voice and governing of the student body. Know that your student government is here for you, and our main priority is for the well-being of you. As SGA, we want your voice to be heard, so we can properly fulfill our mission of serving you. The student voice is a powerful tool and can inflict change, especially when utilized properly. The student government is a resource for you all on campus to utilize to ensure that your voice is being heard. We cannot properly do this without hearing from you. Please never hesitate to come to our office, to email us, or speak to a representative with your ideas or your concerns for our campus. Without your voice, we cannot know or create ideas that will make your time at ULM the best that it can be. Know that your student government is listening to you, and we care about each and every one of you. As an organization, we are all here to help you, and thank you so much for coming tonight.
Next, I'd like to introduce and welcome to the podium the ULM professor and director for the School of Behavioral and Social Sciences, as well as my boss, Dr. Pam Salisbury.
Good evening. First, I'm going to read a statement from the Executive Committee of the Faculty Senate, and then I'm going to speak my statement. We, the Executive Committee of the Faculty Senate, affirm that the University of Louisiana Monroe must remain a space where students, staff, and faculty of color feel heard and respected. They are an integral part of the university's community, and we remain committed to the construction of an environment where we feel safe. We condemn racist speech, hate speech, and discriminatory behaviors. These are counter to our core values and harm our mission as educators. They detract from our primary goal of educating students to be informed persons, and they do not reflect who we want to be as human beings. Such speech and behaviors can never be defended under the umbrella of academic freedom. As educators, we are held to higher standards because of the influence education has on our students. At ULM, we have the honor of teaching students not just from Monroe, but from across our region, our state, our country, and the world. Our students, in turn, influence their communities, bringing what we've taught and what they've learned from these places or to those places far and near. We must recognize that the entire college experience adds to the education of our students, not just what is learned in the classroom. Because of our influence, we educators have the awesome responsibility of knowing that our words matter to our students and that we must reflect values that add to the global society. We must adapt with the changing values of our world and recognize that as educators, we must also be committed to our continual process of education and improvement. While ULM has many faculty members who are committed to improving our diversity and inclusion initiatives, clearly more work needs to be done. But we are committed to doing this work because we care deeply about our students, staff, and fellow faculty, and about this university that we all call home. Again, that's from the faculty through the Faculty Senate Executive Committee. Now my remarks are to the students, present, past, and future, and those especially who have contacted me, as has been stated, over these past few days. You guys, I've been here a long time. I just saw Dr. Ruth Smith and I've been here. We've kind of been here a long time. To my students, I hear you. Your concerns are valid, but I know that nice words, good speeches are not enough. Again, I hear you. We are on a college campus. Therefore, we're going to have different opinions, be from different backgrounds, and sometimes have vastly different life experiences. We're going to have different socioeconomic status. We're going to have different religious affiliations, or none at all, as well as different political views. This is where the differences at a university, this is where they should be explored. They should be debated, and they should be challenged. There is absolutely nothing wrong with differences. In fact, diversity or difference is the rule, not the exception. I believe if you have siblings, you're different than your sibling. Different than other family members. Again, it's the rule, not the exception. However, there is nothing wrong with having different opinions, but there is something wrong with racism. And that should be a debate. And if you don't believe that that should be a debate, then you're part of the problem and not the solution. I've had many community members contact me over this past time period. Those who maybe are still here and moved away, but they still feel a sense of community here. I say to them, I hear you. is enough. Racism, discrimination, bigotry, all has to be confronted. And it has to be confronted head on. I ask, if not now, when? Now is the time for moving forward beyond yesterday towards a better tomorrow. I'm hearing people say, and I'm one of those, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. They and I want to build a better America, not hold on to the old one. In 1964, Ruth, you and I, well, let's remember vividly. Well, I'm sorry. I remember hearing a dynamic woman by the name of Fannie Lou Hamer say on this very topic, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, in 2020, for these same reasons, I am quoting Dr. Angela Yvonne Davis. I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. I hear you. The time is now to move forward towards a better tomorrow. As Dr. Kendi says, there's no such thing as being not racist. We are either being racist or an anti-racist. I hear you, and I'm not going back.
Our next speaker, Principal for Watson High School, Dr. Harrington Watson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Where do we go from here? That's the question we've been asking all day. When I first started reading these comments and looking at what was going on in our community, all I could think about are thousands of people around our country protesting what's going on right now. They're looking for answers. Young people around the country are trying to find out what is going on and what can they do to change it. It's not enough to talk about it. We're going to have a real communication at some point. They're going to have to ask the hard questions. And if we're not willing to ask those hard questions, all this is phenomenal. It's really just that simple. We're raising the next community of people who are going to make a change in Monroe, Louisiana. Those of you who have grown up here, you understand what Monroe has been like for years. It's only been about 60 years since Sarah McCoy and Bobby Thompson came onto this campus. Some people can remember the 60s. I wasn't born in the 60s, I was born in the 70s, so I just missed that era. But there are things going on today that are just like they were years ago. So I'm not going to bore you with a lot of rhetoric. I'm going to ask you one question. What will you do? What will you do to change things? As I look around this room, I see people who have broken generational curses, first-time graduates in their families that have stepped out and done things that no one ever thought they would do. That's because they've had the integrity, the perseverance to meet those challenges head on and do what needs to be done. I'd like to thank Dr. Liddell. In a few short days of making something happen at ULM. Myself and many others are worried about what's going to happen. Because as a person who directs children to school, I honestly could not say I would send a student somewhere where they have to worry about are they going to be treated fairly on campus. That's just me, I'm sorry. I can't say it any more politically correct than anything. I just can't do it. Because our children and our children's children are in the balance right now. I love Monroe. I moved back to Monroe from other places, but things have got to stop now. Thank you for making that step. Thank you for doing what you're doing, students. Keep being a voice. They said peaceful protests will not work. We've seen different. Communities are changing, cities are changing, city governments are changing. But it starts with us. Someone has to take down these structural things that are in place. And it starts with us doing the right things. So to you today, what will you do? When you go home at night, think about it. What will you do tomorrow to make Monroe a better place? Thank you.
Our next guest is Ms. Janet Durden, President of the United Way of Northeast Louisiana.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you tonight. But I had to ask myself, what value do I bring to this discussion? I've lived a life based on my faith, which informs me that we're all created in the image of God. All of us are created in the image of God. I've been president of the United Way for over 35 years, devoted to public service. Back several years ago, I actually received Grambling State University's Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer Distinguished Leader Award for Community Service and Leadership. But the tragic murder of George Floyd 2 weeks ago changed everything for me. I realized it was no longer enough to live the right kind of life. It was no longer enough to run my organization equitably or have the same values that my family has. From that point forward, I cannot be silent. When injustice occurs, I cannot remain silent. My United Way career has been a good match for my values and my passion. The purpose of the United Way of Northeast Louisiana is to help people and improve community. That's help all people. And that's improve the community we love so much. So that's where we are today. The opportunity before us on the subject of equity and justice is to improve this place that we love so much. To improve Monroe, to improve Northeast Louisiana, and to improve ULM. I gotta tell you, at United Way, we don't always get it right, but we are striving for those issues. We are intentional in our efforts. We have lots of room to improve, but we certainly have a clear, honest picture of both our shortcomings and our strengths. So if I am to continue to grow and learn, what must I do? Well, I'm a huge sports fan. Those that know me know that. And I've recently read an essay by Tony Dungy. You may know him as the very successful coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and then now broadcaster with NBC. And his essay, written on May 30th, I encourage you to go back and find and read, but it's had a huge impact on me. And I'd like to share some of his quotes that I think are so appropriate for this day and this place. We have anger and bitterness winning out over logic and reason. We have distrust and prejudice winning out over love and respect. But we cannot go forward with judgmental, bitter spirits. We need to be proactive, but do it in the spirit of trying to help make things better. And he speaks directly to the church community, he says, and it can't be only African-American churches. I say it can't be only African-American organizations. He says it has to be all churches. I tell you, it has to be all people taking a stand and saying, we are going to be in the forefront of meaningful dialogue and meaningful change. We have to be willing to speak the truth in love. So I'm committing to you, in front of this rather large group, that I'm willing to make some changes. And I'm challenging you to do the same. Two things. listen. We have to listen to each other. And it's more than hearing. It's more than hearing it in the mind. It's listening in the heart. We need to hear each other. We need to have hard conversations. This past 2 weeks, I've had a number of those. Sometimes you hear some things that hurt you so bad because you think we all live in the same place and have the same experiences, and that's not the case. And my second thing that I'm going to change is I'm no longer going to be silent. I don't think it's acceptable to be silent. So I challenge you to move forward. I challenge you to listen and not remain silent. And if we do that, we can all be a part of the change.
Our next guest speaker, Reverend Ambrose Dozart, President of the NAACP, Monroe and Washita Parish Branch.
Let me say good afternoon again to everyone. It's my utmost pleasure to stand before all of us here this afternoon. Monroe's a good place. Reverend, why would you say that? Because I'm looking right now at what we can do. A couple of weeks ago, the NAACP put together a very positive protest. To my amazement, the number of people, some of you were there. A lot of things came as a result of our gathering. What I see now, the same thing can happen again. There are people, as we attempted on this chapter 66 day of Washita Monroe NAACP, to make a difference. No one even knew that we were going to do it, not even the mayor. But the positive effects that came out of it, all of us deserve a big hand of praise. We started out to say, Monroe will be a role model. And again, y'all need to share the hand of praise because some of y'all were part of it. We've been around since 1909. It was started because some of my white brothers and sisters said enough is enough. Slavery and hanging and lynchings were all over the United States. We say the same thing to Washita Parish, and we hope that our message goes further. It don't have to be. You have the same blood that I have. I've often said this. If Ambrose knows I need to find your blood, you better bring it. Amen. So we all God's creation, we're all brothers and sisters. We should be working together. As I just heard someone say, first by loving one another. Love is the greatest thing that God tells us in spite of. Love one another. Then when we learn, only time that we're looking down on a man is on the roots to pick him up. Because in our emphasis, we're picking somebody up. Somebody picking us up too. So on behalf of this great chapter 66 of Washita Parish, we thank you all for participation on last Sunday. If you want to know what we're going to do from there, because my phone is ringing, Dr. Salisbury, what are we going to do next? We're getting our orders, we're going to march and hopefully pray. And I want to ask if you're not too busy to march with us. We're getting our orders together now. We're planning. We're strategizing. We have developed our chapter, what we call a town hall meeting. Hope we get permission from you all and we can use this great facilities. Bring out and talk about it. What can we do? I was born here. What can we do? This is a home where our mothers and our fathers dwell. What can we do? make Monroe greater. Every now and then when that old roof begins to have leaks, when the need changes to the repair work, Monroe, we can repair. All the things that's happened all over the nation, Monroe don't have to be the same. And NAAC is not about looting, not about cross burning. We are organized. As I said, we've been around since 1909. Our mission is leave it alone. We stand for the rights and the injustice of those that cannot sometimes speak for themselves. We stand, race has no barriers. I'm leaving with this now. You think about it. Injustice doesn't have any boundaries. Injustice don't have eyes. Injustice sometimes don't hear. So we wish God is speaking to you all. Call me, call us up. That's what I'm here for. On behalf of our national president, our state president, they said, tell Monroe they can do it. It's already been proven. Last Sunday we had over 400 people that gathered with us. A great, peaceful protest support that was happening all over the state today. Brother Ford was killed. I say to my brothers and sisters, you can do it. I say to you also that the old preacher said that's a destiny. It makes us brothers. No one goes his way alone. All that is sent out to the like brothers will soon come back to his own.
I'd like to remind the audience one more time that we do have cards. If you have questions or comments that you would like to provide or make, please make sure that you write it on a card. Hold your card up, and one of our wonderful assistants will collect that from you. And we'll have those read or asked after the remarks from our guest. Our next guest is the mayor of the city of Monroe and an alum of the University of Louisiana Monroe. We have Mr. Jimmy Mayer.
Thank you very much. Good evening. What a pleasure it is to be here tonight. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Little for the invitation, and also our alumni friends from the University of Louisiana Monroe, in addition to our students who are here tonight, as well as our community that's here as well. You know, I have a lot of memories here in the Coliseum. In fact, two of the greatest memories that I have occurred right here on this floor. When we cut down the nets, used to be a basketball goal there. We cut down the nets about 42 years ago when we won the conference championship. It was one of the first teams, or the second team in the whole state of Louisiana to go to the NIT, which at that time was one of the most prestigious tournaments. Then, of course, graduating here in 1979, walking across the stage that was there. And by the way, I was looking up for the flag. What y'all do with the flag, our flag? See, all of them gone. But very, very much appreciative to this great institution, as well as I know I can speak on behalf of my wife as well, because she has a plus 30 here at the University of Louisiana Monroe as well. When I walked across that stage, little did I know that one day that I would get into politics, and that's what I did. And when I ran for city council in first lost, and then ran again and was very successful, and then ultimately becoming the mayor of the city of Monroe, you can imagine there's several experiences that I've had as it relates to so many different things. And I've been able to come across so many different folks throughout the community, because we are a diverse community. And also been able to come across a lot of different challenges. And one of which has been the challenge of inclusion, equity, as well as diversity. And it just so happened that being a member of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, that is our theme, representing 600 different folks, 600 different cities in the United States. That is our theme. I think it's by coincidence that's what we have here tonight. But having an opportunity to work with a lot of different people, to do a lot of different things here in the city of Monroe has been just wonderful. But there's another side of it too, because having experience to deal with, even as mayor, some of these situations that I think should have been otherwise, as it relates to inclusion, equity, as well as diversity. You see, I represent black, white, rich, poor. I represent Republican, Democrat, Independents. I represent all kinds of denominations here. And sometimes you do things and you see things that are offensive to others. I've gone through that since day one. And even as mayor of the city of Monroe, yes, I've been discriminated against myself. When you make certain decisions, some people don't like it. But then that's just the way life is. You know, you enjoy the speeches, you enjoy the talks and those type of things, but there's an old saying that action speaks louder than words. And so something that has happened here is happening on this campus, is happening out with these United States of America, and it goes beyond that globally. I'm talking about a young man by the name of George Floyd. But when the minister was giving the eulogy today, he said, one of the things he said, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Do we just talk about it? Do we just have the emotions right now and don't do anything else? I think that it will be in vain if that's the case. And hopefully all of you tonight are committed to being dedicated and stepping forward and stepping out to try to make a difference as it relates to inequality. Unless you're an African American, you don't know what it's like to be an African American. Unless you are European American, you don't know what it's like. But what we do know is that God made us all, and we're in this together. We may not have come over here with the same boat, but we're in the same boat now. So what are we going to do about it? So we all can look in the mirror and say that we can do better. We all can. I can do better. We all can do better. So let's do better. And while we're at it, let's make the necessary changes that we need to make in our own lives. Whatever's in your heart, we're still going to have some of the same challenges that we have and see now. But even if we made just a little difference, or just a little change, it'll be better than what it is now. That's why I'm proud to be here tonight. And I know some of the panelists were on a panel discussion that we put together, conversation on race, several months ago. But you know, it was very difficult for me to get some people to sit on that panel because they were afraid. Now what? You have to ask them. They were afraid. They were quiet. But it's true that we've come too far to be quiet now. You didn't know George Floyd 2 weeks ago. Now his name rings out globally. And we can't let his death be in vain. So the things that comes up on this campus, or within the city of Monroe, or Ouachita Parish, Northeast Louisiana, whatever the case may be, the entire state of Louisiana, we need to make a difference. Because we may not get a second chance, but we do have that chance right now. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you, Doc, for inviting me here. May God continue to lead, guide, and direct you, because when he leads you, you'll be led right. And when he guides you, you will be guided right. God bless you.
right, we're going to take questions and comments from the audience. I'd like to have, I think Mr. Blake Stone. Mr. Blake Stone? Mr. Stone, you've got 2 questions you want to ask. So come over here to the microphone.
My name is Blake Stone. I am a student here at ULM. I'm a sophomore, junior now. I'm a rad tech major. And my question is, what measures are ULMPD taking in light of recent events, police brutality?
I'll tell you, I've lost sleep over that. Because only being here for a couple of days, I thought, what can I do? And so the first thing I did is I talked to the chief of police here, and I said, we've got to make sure that we do the right thing. And that's the one thing that you'll always hear is we've got to do the right thing. And so having that conversation, it scares me. But I think with the officers that we have, if you look at them, we have diversity. We have a really good group. They're certified. They're going for their advanced degrees. They're getting their master's degrees in criminal justice. So they're educated. We have training. So I just hope and pray that we've done the right things to make sure that the students are safe here. And I'll tell you, for me, the biggest challenge that we have, and for me, if I can look back and say, for parents and grandparents to feel like they can send their kids to ULM and they're safe is the ultimate thing. And I told Dr. Salisbury, my goal would be that we make the community safe so that she's comfortable sending her 2 grandchildren, or 2 twin boys, grandchildren here to ULM. And we've got a long way to go to do that. And I think part of that is through providing that environment, having the training for the police officers, and having the awareness for that.
Okay. I also have another question. You may or may not be aware of recent racist remarks made amongst incoming freshmen throughout the state of Louisiana. So my question is, how will you make students of color feel welcome after the bigoted remarks of Dennis Bell and Mary Holmes and such students?
When I first got here, I looked around ULM and I realized that we've got some work to do. And I know that other institutions are having problems. And one of the shining lights that we have in admissions and recruitment is Ahmad. How do y'all know Ahmad? So I told Ahmad, he represents what we should be like here at ULM. If you look at the prep staff, I said that's the most diverse group we have on campus. They're awesome. They're great. And they're there for those freshmen when they come in. And I would argue next to that is in athletics. We have extreme diversity in athletics. We bring those together. I've always felt like sports is an environment where we work together regardless. And so I look at that and say, with what we're doing with Ahmad and what we do with the prep staff, it's ultimately important that we make sure that those students coming in are comfortable and feel welcome.
Thank you.
The University of Louisiana at Monroe. and I'm currently a teacher at Wiseman High School. In the past, students have been subjected to racist families and racist students as far as it comes to res life and dorms. As far as I know, I've had a few friends that on the day of moving, that if the family didn't like that the roommate was a person of color, that they would go to res life and that res life would give them a different room. How are you guys going to go forward with accepting these students? Are you going to continue to accept them with open arms? Or are you going to continue to accept their freedom of speech or their freedom of opinion and not wanting to bunk with a person of color?
When I was an undergraduate student at Colorado State University, we had about actually 20,000 students on campus at that time. 200 of us were black. I ran into some people who had never seen a black person in their life, in real life, had seen us on TV. So I kind of understood what they had learned about us, as they were looking at us on TV way back then when I'm going to say that again, Bruce, honey, you don't want to room with somebody that doesn't see your worth. You don't want to. But this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for that person who doesn't see your worth. Like I said, this is a place we're supposed to learn and grow and whatever. And perhaps that person who didn't want to room with you, she didn't know you. She thought she knew about you. But like I said, if that person doesn't know your worth, you don't want to room with that.
Yes, ma'am. My true question was, are you going to continue to accept these students with open arms into the university?
And I'll let someone else address this, but I don't know what whatever your, like I said, your mindset is coming in, we can't say that mindset will not change. So we would not say, no, you can't come because however, I would not put anyone in a position that they did not want to be in, whether it's because they don't see your worth or you know they don't see you as worthy, so that's not going to happen. But as people progress, hopefully that individual will grow just as you are going to grow. And if they don't, it's their loss, not yours.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Do we have a Mr. Jonathan Jenkins? And Ms. Wendy Mills?
I'm not sure if this was intentional. I'm not facing the panelists, I'm facing y'all. My name is Wendy Bales. I am the school director for Kitty Degree School of Nursing. I am the person responsible for the person who is the faculty member who wrote the statement. And I'm telling you, I'm sorry. And if I could look each one of you in the eye and take the time to do it, I would, and I will. I've spent most of my day talking to people, not emailing, but talking to people. And I need you to know, it's not my people. That's not my guys. My guys that are over here and my guys that are over there, that's not them. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry because she didn't represent the profession. She didn't represent the school. She didn't represent the ANA Code of Ethics for nurses, the very first one, that is respect for others, no matter who, what, where, when. But we will do better. You have my promise. You have our commitment. We will do better. And it will start now. This won't happen again. Not on my watch. And Jonathan is one of my graduates that I didn't get to pin, but I'm going to pin him August 7th.
white community when people get sick. The white people catch a cold, but black people catch pneumonia. Growing up black, there's a lot of things that people don't see. A lot of struggles, a lot of pain. Being brought around grocery stores, women clutching their purses in the elevator. And it's true. The fact that I'm 6 women black, I'd be more likely to be seen as a threat. And that's sad, because I know God did not make us that way. We're all made this thing, that we're all made in my own day. But I do want to say that as a recent graduate of May 2020, that on behalf of my classmates, that I feel like that we're all were disgusted by the comments. Some of us had her as a teacher, as a clinical teacher. Me personally had her as a clinical teacher. And it hurts, because that's my alumni, that's my school, that's where I just graduated from. And it deeply saddens me. But I'm not here right now to tear down anybody. Right now, I'm just for the community. I just want to say that Kid Degree School of Nursing is a great program. That people like his wife, Ms. Ebony Watson, nobody knows it, but my first semester of nursing school, after I failed, I wanted to drop out. I didn't want to come back. But it was that woman, she kept me going. And now there are many other ones. Ms. Paula Willis, Ms. Catherine Dixon, Dr. Kennedy, Ms. Amy Miller. I can go on and on and on. There's so many great faculty at Kennedy Degree School of Nursing. And it's because of the day I was able to get a job at Glenwood. You should never judge a book by its cover and a man by their skin. And one thing I can say is about this school and this university, though there's been a lot of trials and tribulations going on, don't let it be one person or two people to discourage the whole thing and think that this whole place is bad, because it's not true. I believe that Kennedy Degree School of Nursing, you're alone. I feel like that's a lot you can learn. And wherever you go, you're always going to be opposition. But that just means you got to push a little harder. We all know the saying, as all black people, you got to work twice as hard. Just keep working. God will take care of the rest. But thank you, Dr. Willis.
Thank you, Mr. and Dr. Bales. We have a question that was submitted online, and I guess a number of people that were on the panel can answer this question. The question comes from Nadine Rawls, a 1982 alum of ULM, current resident of Georgia. And she asked, what's after the speeches? What do we do from this point forward?
What we're going to do after the speeches? We're part of ULM, so we all going to work together. Somebody said, I'm cooking steaks tonight. So we're all invited. Not in person. As I said to this crowd, Monroe Bear made history on something. We're making history right now. Simply because we all came together as brothers and sisters upon a call to discuss issues that affect America, affect Washington Parish, affect this university. Come together as brothers and sisters on one call. True. The scriptures say faith without work is dead. You can have all the faith in the world. You can talk about faith. The only way that you can prove that you have faith, you got to work your faith. As someone said there, as soon as we graduated, it took work. Working always easy. I'm 72 years old, former policeman of Shreveport. 3 guns put on in my life. Had prostate cancer. I had a stroke about a year ago. But I'm still walking. How do you overcome adversities? How do you overcome situations? Don't just talk about it. Do something about it. I hate to go with this, but those other officers that was there going to take it with them. Brother's life, you could have made a decision. And you was wrong. So now they are just as guilty as the person that really affected the damage. So what happens? We in this group, we stick together and talk about it. Because a lot of us, that's all we do. It's talk. Talk about it in our homes. Talk about it in our churches. Talk about it in our jobs. That's what prompted this chapter 66 day to come together with that peaceful protest. I got a call from the white supremacist a couple nights ago, stayed on the phone 3 hours. He said that the land belonged to him. So I beg your pardon. I see everybody that fought for the rights to make America better, not greater but better. The recipient of what their forefathers or someone did in order that we'd have the rights. So what do? We don't just talk. I said to you already, the NAACP created town hall setting. We're going to have a town hall setting. Those of you that's here tonight, only thing I can tell you is just pay attention as it's coming. We're not going to talk about it. Some actions. I'm sitting in a appointment to talk with both mayors, Monroe and West Monroe and Sheriff, to look at their policies, the police department policies, see what could be better improve on what they have to make it great. Sometimes we move before we think. You don't take a second time to think. Been there, done that. So I believe tonight, not just talk about it because I know we'll be here till midnight. As soon as possible, everyone that's concerned, as I am, as others, let's sit down at the table, let's talk about it. And let's make it happen. Monroe don't have all the jobs. I believe if we work together and bring a cohesive effort to this city, it can happen. Our unemployment rate is not great. But if we come together as one, if we come together as people, let's talk about it. Put those words into action on both the north side and the south side of the city. And it will happen. I'm not a candidate. I'm talking from experience. If we come together, all these that sit in this house tonight, in this Coliseum tonight, it can happen. I'm a living testimony too.
I think that was, the question was, I guess, kind of directed to me. So what's next? The way I see it is today is the start, and we've got to keep the progress going. And like I said, we're here to listen. I need you to tell me what we need to do. I need to tell you to tell me what's next. What are we going to do? We're going to do it together. And so we need your input, we need your advice, we need your suggestions. And we're listening to that. So as you look around, you're seeing a lot of staff from ULM. Let them know, let them see, and we're going to do what you want next. We're going to keep the progress moving.
Well, part of me would be remiss because I'm thinking, here I am, I'm a political science professor, and I'm thinking, what's happened with speeches? So I guess this is my opportunity in a few seconds to say, well, an idea is possibly you could register to vote, and then you could go vote. I mean, I always tell my students, you get the government you deserve. Chew on that. You get the government you deserve. And if you don't participate, because you have to register first. If you don't register and you don't participate, then you're going to get what you deserve. If you're not happy with what you've gotten, I mean, it's one of the beautiful things about what we have here is you have the option to change that. I know in light of the pandemic, it is 2020. We are in an election year. So you have an incredible ability to make a federal impact. I want to be careful what words I phrase so I don't appear to be supporting or not supporting any particular individuals. Unfortunately, you can't control that for Louisiana. We had our elections last year. But you do have the power to vote, and you have the ability, if you're not happy with the way things are going, even at the state level, to make those changes. And if we're talking about the police departments, at least here in Louisiana, you have the power to vote for the sheriffs. So if you don't like the direction of a sheriff's office, if you don't like the direction of a parish as a police jury, or if you don't like the city, there's a mayor, and disrespect, there's a mayor. So, I mean, you do have an input in this process. With that being said, do we have time for more questions? Okay. We have a question here. What exercises or programs will ULM introduce to properly educate students or faculty about racism?
I think because we're in a college, and the statement that was read from the faculty was talking about continuous education, and that, I've done a lot of diversity training. A colleague and I, we do them routinely. In fact, I recently did one in Columbia. One thing I always end with is that this is a journey, not a destination, because you never arrive at a place where you know everything. You never get there. But we, faculty members, are going to be looking at our curriculum, our classes, content. We are going to be looking to see where we can expand knowledge not only on the academic areas that students are looking to graduate in, but as the statement read, we're going to provide education outside of the classroom as well as inside. I've been picking on you, Dr. Ruth Smith, but I'm going to pick on you again. We have social work students who are now Spanish minors. And one thing that happened was they were able to travel to Mexico. And not just for the language, but they learned about the people and the culture. We have service learning here. We're going to expand that. We've done some things with Wassman High School. We've done some things with the Chirals. But we also are going to insist that the faculty takes advantage. Also, we have problems. We need some diversity, inclusion, equity training for our faculty. So we're going to do that. And we're going to do it seriously. We're not going to have a one-shot and then we're done until the next year. We're going to do it continuously because this problem did not arise overnight. We're not going to solve it. We're not going to solve it overnight. I said at a meeting this morning, we got like 100 yards to go. And of course, you know I played football. No, 100 yards to go. Okay. I have learned, because I used to watch all kinds of sports with my dad, so I know some stuff. Okay. I know that they don't give you the ball and tell you, okay, here, run 100 yards for the touchdown. Or you get chances, 1st and 10. We got more than 100 yards to go to solve these issues. But we have to do it yard by yard, or by the yard, we're going to make 10. My mom has a lot of sayings that she instilled in us, and one was, by the yard is hard, but by the inch is a cinch. Inch by inch, we're going to solve this. Like I said, because I'm not going back, doesn't sound like you guys want to go back, and so we got to go forward, guess what? Together. And I'm not going back.
I see Coach Viator in the audience. I think Pam is itching for a tryout. So, we have a question from another individual. Does the university have a social media policy? If so, does it need to be reformed to align with the university's core value of diversity, excellence, and integrity?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will definitely do that. And with input from others, we will review that and make sure that if this ever happens again, it'll be very clear from the beginning.
So I want to thank everybody again for coming out tonight. Obviously, now we have a challenge, right? And that challenge is, we have a person at the microphone. Everybody wants it. Go ahead.
So that second to last card was actually my card. My name is Hope Martin, and there are also 3 other questions on the card as well. Thank you for answering their questions so eloquently the way that you did. So what I also wanted to ask, to piggyback off of your question, so, and I quote, you guys are going to implement that into the curriculum?
What? Specifically?
The diversity training.
For students or faculty or
Both.
everybody?
Everybody.
Yes,
Anybody.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And also.
Do you have some specific things that you want? Some specific topics and whatever? You can come talk to me. I'm in Strauss 208.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to remember the other 2 questions I had on there. Could you read them?
If my screeners have given them to me.
The second one was in particularly about staff. And, going back to the first question, so is that diversity training also going to emotionally equip students who are affected by racial incidents?
Yes. Yeah. But we also have counseling.
Yes, and we also have, I'm kind of hesitant to talk about counseling because counseling has to be culturally relevant and people have to understand the lifestyle. So we, like I said, there's a lot, there's layers, we're going to dissect this, but yes, ma'am, the short answer would be yes, yes.
Will there be somewhere that students or even the public can view those initiatives that you guys are going to be incorporating into the curriculum or training systems for staff and students?
If we talk about curriculum, that's individual people's syllabi. We can, as a program director, I can make sure that my social work program and classes include information as we as social workers have to do. But in all the other areas, we can, obviously, I believe people have got the message that they want. They need to be looking at that, so that will be incorporated as well. And was there another part of that you?
So you're saying we're not going to be able to confirm these new initiatives that you guys are putting in place?
For your syllabi, you can look at that. If you're talking about the policy, like social media policy, yes, you can find that online. If you're talking about diversity issues, where we stand on diversity, Yes, ma'am. All that we have learned will be all online, so you can see there'll be no guessing. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, you can see the policies that relate to issues like that. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Larry Robbins. Hey, how you doing? I think I know most of y'all. Good to see your faces. So, my question is, and I'll give a little preface. In the African American home, we learn the oppression that happened to our people over the years. It's taught in our homes. We learn it, we remember it. And so my father actually worked at this university most of my life. I remember in first grade, the football locker room was my war zone with my brother when we would play, Army fatigue. And so I got to learn of some of his experiences here. And in those experiences, I learned how he was treated differently because of the color of his skin. And so another thing that I learned in my study is that there is a consequence when you speak against the things that have been done to you, the discriminatory practices, and we call it the consequences of white fragility. When you choose to speak out against it, when white fragility kicks in, there are consequences. And so my question is regarding the employees who are on grounds and housekeeping and things like that. How are they going to be ensured that their voices are heard when they experience things that are culturally inappropriate for them?
I think what we have to do is make sure that we have that avenue to do that. We do have the faculty senate. We do have a staff senate. And the challenge is going to be that they may not have been comfortable to go do that. And so we've even had some things that we've posted online that will give people the opportunity to post anonymously their concerns. And so we have, Julia, how many posts have we had so far on that form? The anonymous form that we put out the other day? There's over 200 of them, so they're going through them right now and categorizing and looking at those to see which ones do we start with, where do we start. I look at everything as a priority, right? We take them, we look at them, we prioritize them, we knock one off at a time, and we go to the next one, the next one, the next one. So we're going to have some avenues to be able to do that, and we're genuinely concerned. And I would say, Hope, if there's an opportunity, you want to come stop by and talk to me. I think my biggest challenge is we have no students on campus. I came here because it's been a while since I've been on a campus, and I came here to be on a campus with students, and there's no students. So stop by, I'll be glad to talk to you, and we can talk more, and I look forward to that.
Yes, or also even being treated differently by their supervisor, not being able to get necessary promotions, being demoted in some regards. There are subtle ways that you can do that. And I say this, I really more so to educate as well. There's a saying in the African American household, and I say this not to be inflammatory, but to be helpful for us. There's a saying that white people can have the tendency to smile in your face and be stabbing you in the back at the same time. And when I say that, I mean that there's a appearance of love and a genuine care for you, but also building a case to demolish you in the background. And when my dad said that, when my parents said that to me, I thought this is just another old time, thing that African Americans are passing down. And I realized when I experienced it for myself, it's a real thing that happens. And so I'm saying this to say my hope is for a university that I graduated from fall 2014 is that we'll be working to see how racism has evolved. Because it doesn't look the same way it did in the 60s, it doesn't look the same way it did in the 70s. It has evolved, it's a better subtle scene, and we need to be looking for all forms of our careers, even when you think through how African American women chooses to wear their hair. In fact, I recall young lady who wanted a job at SGA, but her hair was too bushy. And so these are very real things that are happening on the campus that we need to be addressing in all areas. And so I hope to be educational in this as well.
You're exemplifying the layers, the inches that we have to go. When I first started here, I was called to the dean's office because my afro was so big that they thought it was Angela Davis and whatever. I wish I had the brain of Angela Davis, but I wasn't. Okay, so you're exactly right. But like I said, we have to, it's layers, but you are exactly right. So I would hope that after today, if something like this happens with the maintenance crew, that they will holler out because people are listening. And so, but again, we can't be unrealistic about a quick change. We have to move along. But part of solving any issue is to acknowledge you have a problem. And we have acknowledged that we have a problem.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Just to make a statement of that question from Nadine Rawls from Douglasville, that's my sibling. And I was about 7th or 8th grade when she introduced me to NLU. And I remember her being part of the fight to have the first Black homecoming queen.
Nadine Walker.
That was difficult. Yes, it is. So her question was not just what after the speeches then what? It was, is the diversity committee is going to look like? Will the students be an integral part? Because an action got us here today. So what will NLU be? And also just a thought so I can make my statement. She was a graduate in criminal justice. She went to be a Shreveport Police Department in the 82. So one of her statements is higher education doesn't mean the person will be a good police officer. What training will that be to put in place to change behavior and biases towards Black students and other students of color? So I want to give you the whole picture, because if it wasn't for my sister, and by the way, my sister-in-law didn't know her then, went to NLU, Felicia Whitehurst. So we have 3 generations who went to NLU. When I came 30 years ago, I graduated 30 years ago, it was great. I enjoyed it. I had a wonderful teacher, Mrs. Betty Cooper, and Dr. Dolachek in that department. But I remember feeling a certain way. I remember feeling, why am I the only African-American student sitting up in this honors banquet? Why do I see and been taught by one African-American teacher? Why do I have this feeling of not being progressed through the system after I graduated? The career placement. We saw other Caucasian students getting interviews and placement just like that. So yes, you have improved. I see more diversity. I've moved away to get that diversity. My husband moved away as being a top programmer with wonderful recommendations from Dr. Brett Meyer. But he never got to be the first Black programmer at Troy Nichols, who's now was bought out by Chase. So I'm giving you that story to let you know that it still exists, that there are layers. There's not just layers of how comfortable I feel, but what are those layers as they progress to stay close to home? Because we are from Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm from Plainview, Louisiana. Small rural area. The last 5 daughters, the last 3 graduated from college. That's the legacy that I want these kids to have. I don't want them to have that feeling. So when we are honest, you have to, I don't expect, and I said on the card, overnight I don't expect to change and grade racism thoughts. I don't expect to create that trust bridge that we all want and hope for, but I do expect to trust the process. and the policies that put in place. Because if we don't be honest with each other today, because it hurts. It hurts because you have to be honest. At least we have to start the process with you trust that. But as a black community, we have to be honest to you. Because if we don't, the lack thereof of our financial well-being, our academic well-being, and our mental health and our physical health has always been in jeopardy. We have always walked that fine tightrope that young man had said so eloquently. And yes, I am a 1999 alum. I am now, after returning, after 3 years, I am on the staff of the ULM Foundation. So yes, I feel when I speak out, what happens? If I say something or point something out that's uncomfortable to me, what happens? But now I'm almost 53, so I'm like, oh, what the hell? You know? But I don't want to say what the heck, because I am back home in North Louisiana. So I want you to listen to the honesty of what we have, because I am a black mother and a black wife, and trust me, every time something happens, I call that son in Mansfield, Texas, and say, where are you? And he's 33. I had him on this campus. So that did not stop me. And I don't plan for anything else to keep me silent. So we should not be silent, but we should be totally honest with each other. In black community, it hurts. So let's be honest until it hurts, because some of them not going to hear it, some of them will, and we can't walk this walk together if we are willing to listen and really be honest until it hurts. Thank you.
Thank you.
How everybody doing? I'm C.J. Johnson. I'm alumni, graduated in 04. I own the store right across the street, Uniforms We Trust, and I deal with the nursing department, toxicology, radiology department, and I see these kids come in purchasing their uniforms, and I'm here to stand with them. And I got a question. I've been doing my research, and it's not about, it don't start with the faculty. It don't start with the students. Start with them, the people that's upstairs on the 6th floor of the library. Don't you know that it's not a minority on the executive leadership staff? I don't know if it's a minority on the nursing board staff. My point is, if we're gonna start and we're gonna fix this, y'all saying time. Because these kids study coming. They study trying to come into the nursing department because we, quote unquote, have the #1 nursing in Louisiana. They study trying to come and play football and basketball here. It started with y'all. We want y'all to put some minorities on that board as soon as possible, and we as a community should know. That's what I wanted to say. It don't start with you guys. ULM 6th floor.
I'm going to tell you, it goes higher than that. We have a 16-member board at the UL system, and right now it's one of the most diverse boards we've ever had. In the last couple of years, they have focused on diversity and inclusion. There's a commitment, and it's serious. We have 2 board members here today that are committed to that. And you can imagine the texts and the emails that I got from our board that said, you've got to do something now. And I'll tell you, I'm a little cautious to say this, but we have a board meeting August 26th in Baton Rouge. And as soon as I found out that I was going to be coming to ULM, and I heard Dr. Camille Currier was going to retire, I said, whoa, what am I going to do? Because I'll tell you, my focus is enrollment. We've lost 625 students in 2 years. That's $5.5 million. We're going to take over $1 million cut from the state this year in the budget cuts. And I said the next president that comes in October 1st will not be successful if we lose enrollment again this year. You cannot come in as a president and have to cut staff, cut budgets, furlough people, reduce staff. There's no way that the president will be successful coming in October if we don't go out and bring the students in. Because the state doesn't pay for education anymore. It comes from the students and the community. And so the board is going to meet August 26th. And a month ago, I took the advice of a number of people here, and we went out and found somebody. And we're going to bring in a vice president of color, of female. My biggest disappointment is that she couldn't be with me today. I tried to fly her in. So she will be here July 1st. And we've already been talking about a community prayer breakfast to start off when she comes here. So I hope that makes the statement. That's the beginning. It's 1 inch. It's a small inch, but it's a start.
I want to thank everybody for your time and your patience. We could be here all evening, continuing the dialogue and having great questions, but time is of the essence for some of our panelists. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the evening. I'm going to ask Dr. Betty Kaufman, who is a retired ULM communication professor, who is also an archdeacon, to end the evening with closing prayer.
I'm delighted to be here to do this evening. But I want to start by saying that prayer without action is hollow and empty. So I ask you to stand and join me in prayer, and hear this prayer, please, as a call to action. Holy God, we stand before you this evening, a broken nation of broken people. You have created humankind to be bearers of your love, and you have loved us well throughout the ages. But we fall short. Again and again, we fail to see each other as you see us. We fail to see every human being as made in your likeness and animated by your breath. Perhaps most of all, we fail to see that social, political, and economic structures of our own making privilege some of us at the expense of others. Tonight we stand before you united in the desire to do better, to be better, as people, a community, a nation. We pray for the courage to listen, to hear each other's pain, to forgive, to remove masks of privilege that blind us to the cries of those who have asked and waited and asked and waited for the promise of this great nation to be realized for all. We pray for the courage and the tenacity to seek justice, for only in justice will we find peace. May we go forth tonight guided by the light of your love, united in our quest for justice and peace, and seeing you in every human face. Blessed are you, Lord of the universe. Praise and glory to you, most gracious mystery. We trust that you will rise to answer us when we call upon your holy name, this day and always. Amen.